Your credit score doesn't care how much you owe. The credit bureau really cares about how much you report. The ultimate credit card utilization hack is to control what gets reported to the credit bureau, not how much you owe on the credit card. In this video, I want to talk about the ultimate credit card utilization hack to increase your credit score fast. Let's get into it. Our credit score is broken down into 5 components. We have our payment history, our credit card utilization, our length of credit, our new credit, and our credit mix. But if we want to increase our credit score fast, the quickest way for us to be able to do that is by tackling our credit card utilization. Our credit card utilization is 30% of our credit score, but if we want to increase our credit score fast, we really want to get it 7% or less. Now, the thing is, it's not really how much we owe on the credit card that's going to determine that. It's really going to be how much we report to the credit bureau, because our creditors reports to the credit bureau every 30 days. So if you want to see an increase in your credit score in 30 days, the number one thing that you have to do is figure out when is your creditor going to be reporting to the credit bureau. So when you take a look at your credit card statement, look on there to see what is my statement date or closing date. And that's the day that you want, maybe 3 to 5 days before that day, to pay the credit card down to whatever your ideal credit card utilization is. But really, if we want to be high achievers and you want to see a huge increase in your credit score, the best way to do that is by getting it 7% or reporting 7% or less to the credit bureau. Now, there's really two important dates on our statement. That's going to be our statement date / closing date, which we just talked about, but also our due date. Now, our due date is going to be, let's say, that minimum payment that we have to make so we don't have any late payments on the account. So that's very important that we make sure that we at least pay it at the due date. What is that minimum payment that our creditor states that we have to pay on that due date so we don't have no late payments? Because we don't want to have no late payments. So we want to make sure to at least pay the minimum at that date. But then take a look at that closing date or that statement date to see when is our creditor going to be reporting to the credit bureau. I would say the number one thing that people are probably doing is, let's say at that due date, you pay the credit card off. But then a couple of days after that due date, now you just start spending and spending and spending on the credit card. And so what happens is when your statement date comes in, you done max the credit card to 50%. And then that's what reports to the credit bureau. And then when that 50% reports to the credit bureau, that's how your credit score decreases month over month. So that's why it's very important you want to really understand your due date and your statement date, because we want to make our minimum payment at the due date, but we really want to control what's reporting to the credit bureau. So once our statement date / closing date comes 3 to 5 days before that statement date, that's when we want to pay it down to our ideal credit card utilization so that we can report in a better light, because we want to report 30% or less or 7% or less, especially if we're trying to be higher achievers. And then that's how you can increase your credit score. So it's very important that we understand that statement date. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at my Citi Platinum American Airlines card. Now, y'all, this credit card credit limit is only $7,100, but I be using this credit card all the time because right now I really been trying to get me some airline points. Now, I have other credit cards that I could use so that I can make sure that my credit card utilization, especially on this credit card, is not high. But since I really like this credit card, I just been using this credit card a lot. But now my overall credit card utilization is only 3%. But on this credit card, it's a little bit higher because I use this credit card a lot more. And so that's another tip. Do you take a look at your credit card utilization overall or individually? Now, if I only had 1 or 2 credit cards and I was reporting high on this one credit card, then that's another reason that our credit card utilization could be high, because we don't have a lot of credit cards with a higher available balance on there. So it's very important to look at all of our credit cards, along with looking at our credit cards individually so we can see how much we report. So when we take a look at my statement for my Citi Platinum American Airlines credit card, my billing period is 10/2 to 11/3. And so that means that my statement date is 11/3, statement date / closing date, when the Citibank is going to be reporting to the credit bureau. So really, at the 11/3 date, 3 to 5 days before that date, I would really want to make sure that I'm not reporting 30% higher or report 7% or lower. So my due date is 11/27, and it's stating that I have to make a minimum payment of $41. So you can see here that I've already made a payment on a credit card, which has satisfied my minimum payment, which is great. Now, the thing is, I just want to make sure that when my statement date comes up in December, so really my statement date is going to be 12/1 to 12/3. I really want to pay this credit card down to 7% so that I can make sure when Citi reports to the credit bureau that I'm not reporting a high credit card utilization. And that's how you can increase your credit score fast. Now, the ultimate credit card utilization hack is, even though we are reporting to the credit bureau, that doesn't mean that we're going to pay interest on our credit cards, because, with interest being so high, we don't want to pay interest on our credit cards. Now, I think that it's going to be a good practice to report on at least one credit card opposed to reporting 0% credit card utilization, especially if you're trying to increase your credit score, because the creditor at least want to see some activity on our credit. Now, just because we are reporting credit, it doesn't mean that we are paying interest on the credit card. So I'll show a way to make sure that we're not paying interest on the credit card, but it's still good to use the AZEO method, all zero except for one. But when you go onto the Experian website, it's going to say if we want to be high achievers, then we really don't want to report on more than 3 of our credit cards. And I was just like, man, that's crazy, because sometimes, even though I report 3% credit card utilization, when me having 14 credit cards, I like to play around a little bit. And so sometimes I'll just report on 3, but sometimes I might report on 7 of the credit cards. But since my overall credit card utilization is 3%, I have a little wiggle room to where I can play around. Now, 2 reasons that it's good to report credit card utilization is because, one, creditors really don't like to see no usage on credit cards. And so it's good to report some credit utilization, although we don't have to pay interest. And that happened to me one time with my Bank of America, 2 of my Bank of America credit cards, because I was using those cards differently, and I probably didn't report for maybe like 6 months or so. And then they closed not 1, but 2 of those credit cards. But then also, especially if you're trying to open up credit cards within the same, let's say, bank. So Chase, American Express, Citi. Because one time when I was trying to open up a credit card, the Chase Sapphire Preferred credit card, and I want to say I had 3 credit cards, but I wasn't reporting any usage on those credit cards. Y'all, do you know I had got denied? They denied me, but then they went ahead and approved me by taking a credit limit 5,000 off of one of the other credit cards. So it is good to report credit card utilization without paying. And so what that means is, when we take a look at this payment history, we can see that I made my payment to satisfy my minimum payment on that account. But you can see that I still have a statement balance from my last statement date. So what I want to do is, I want to make sure that I pay the credit card down to that statement balance so that I can make sure that I don't have any interest on that credit card. So you can see that the current balance on that card is more than a statement balance. And really, if I still continue to use this credit card, the current balance can increase. But even though it increases, as long as I pay that statement balance off, I won't pay any interest on that credit card. So that's definitely a credit card utilization hack that you can use. So let me know in the comments, are you going to be using this credit card utilization hack so you can increase your credit score? Let me know in the comments, how many points are you trying to increase your credit score? I'm really trying to increase my credit score, maybe about 40 points, somewhere 35 to 40 points, because I want to get to an 800 credit score. Right now, I'm averaging around 767. So that's where I'm at right now. I hope that you found this video helpful. Please like, subscribe, share with a friend, but turn your notification bell on so you'll be notified when new content drops. I thank you so much for watching. Until next time, make sure that we got our finances in order for 2026. And so you'll have to go and check out my digital budget planner on my Etsy shop. Y'all, I'm very excited about it. You have your monthly budget, you have your debt repayment and your debt tracker. I'm very excited. I added a bingo savings planner to where you can put a few other things that you're trying to do. Possibly you're trying to save 1,000 or 5 or 10,000. So you can put that in there. Maybe you want to get you a high yield savings, possibly open up a Roth IRA. So you can put your savings goal in the boxes and just mark them off as you complete it. But then also you can always go over to my website and get my free budget and debt repayment template. And I even added the bingo savings for that as well. So you can drop down in the description and go over to my website or my Etsy shop. It's not a game.